All right. Welcome to the Chico Creates podcast. I am your host, Kira Barsodi. And in this podcast, as many of you know, we talk to local artists, musicians, and makers from here in Chico, California. And with me today is Christian Davila. She's a mixed media artist that moved to Chico 9 years ago from Stockton. She works with book paper and uses 3D printers and laser cutters to help create her beautiful sculptures, which are 99% birds. And she's known around Chico as the bird artist. So welcome.
Hi, it's nice being here. Oh my
God.
It's
awesome to have you. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself beyond the bio?
I started being part-time faculty at Butte since 2019. So this is kind of why I've been stuck in Chico.
Other than art, what do you like to do around town?
I usually like to go to Upper Crust.
Oh,
I always
nice.
love going there in the morning before I go to my studio to grab a quiche and a coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm not doing that, I'm probably doing hiking.
Yeah.
Nervous.
No, you're totally fine.
Hiking, drawing, biking. I wish I can do more birding, but I don't know how to do that.
There's lots of apps and stuff. I don't know if you caught Rita's episode a couple episodes ago, but she's super into birding. Mm-hmm. And she mentioned, I don't remember what the app is now, but she mentioned an app that if it'll listen and tell you what the bird is.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah. I really should check that out.
Mm-hmm.
I like to watch movies, so a lot of times when there's a movie in theaters, I like to go and watch them.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times I just like going out to eat.
Yes. Unfortunately, I feel like the Chico food scene has really boomed in the last few years too. So that's awesome. And so in your bio mentions you've been in Chico for 9 years, moved here from Stockton. What brought you here?
First, Chico State, I was there for 2.5 years. And then a year after, I found the Idea Fab Labs. And I was there, I think also 1.5 years, just being a volunteer. And then I had an art show around 2018, around July, where I created over 60 birds in 2 months.
Oh, wow.
And had them on the ceiling. It was amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And because of that, Daniel Donnelly from the Butte College saw my work and was like, hey, we're looking for somebody to work at our makerspace. You want to check it out and be part of it? And yeah, ever since I've been over there teaching, helping students with the machinery, learning a lot more.
Yeah.
Because originally I was just doing laser cutters and 3D printers, but then I learned how to use the embroidery machine, the CNC router, big format printers. I'm trying to right now learn the water jet.
Oh, cool.
It's a lot of, I guess they call it fabrication art.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and I've been slowly calling myself a fabrication artist instead of a mixed media because.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because that's kind of more what you're working in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm curious, before the birds, what kind of art were you doing?
Also birds.
It's all birds all the time.
All birds. Yeah, I was
it.
Painting birds with little suits on them on acrylic.
That's awesome.
I did quite a few sea creature stuff, but a lot of it wasn't as serious.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I went to community college in Stockton around 2010 that I started getting more serious about doing art and joined a couple art galleries. And then being part of those, I started trying to figure out my voice and my style. So one thing led another. I was instead of painting, I want to try sculpting. Mm-hmm. And I started sculpting my first bird, and then thinking of ideas that I can make it more unique. I decided to cut a book and put it on that bird, and people loved it. I was like, this is my calling.
Yeah.
And I love birds. I used to grow up with a bunch of birds. I had three parakeets, 3 cockatiels.
Uh-huh.
Not all at once, but
yeah. Over the course, yeah. That's cool. I had a cockatiel growing up. They're pretty.
Yeah. Paco and Puco.
Oh, I love that.
And yeah, like I just started just experimenting, working with clay, making these birds. And then at Chico, once I graduated community college, went to Chico State, I learned 3D modeling, and I started making my birds out of 3D printed parts, which made my process a lot faster.
Yeah.
Because back then, it will take me like maybe one bird a month just because I had to
sculpt it from scratch and everything. Yeah. I bet they were a lot heavier too, were they?
Yeah. The only way I can hang them was to like glue them onto a frame or on a canvas. But now, yeah, I can just hang them on from the ceiling, plop them on the wall, and the chances of them breaking like went down to like 0.
Yeah.
There were so many times I broke my birds.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm like, now it's 100% birds. I just love them.
You really do an excellent job of capturing them. Like, they're so lifelike, even though they're clearly, their feathers are made of paper and everything. Like, they're beautiful. They're just gorgeous. And they look like these magical little creatures. They're really stunning. You've definitely like mastered the craft of the paper bird.
Thank you. I had a lot of people call them origami, and I was like,
interesting.
Yeah, when I tell them like, oh yeah, I make paper birds, but don't think origami.
Right. Yeah, don't think paper cranes. Yeah.
And then when I show them, be like, oh, I cut the paper, I glue it, and then they go straight to, oh, it's not origami, it's piñatas.
Right.
And for like the first half of my career with that, I didn't like that. I was like, no, they're not piñatas.
Yeah.
So I stayed away from the frilly paper cuts.
Right.
But I started embracing it just because my sister was like, you're Mexican.
Right.
So I was like,
let there be a little piñata flair in there.
So a lot of the little bellies are all frilly up.
Yeah.
And I think that actually makes them look a lot nicer, a lot more softer compared to like, I don't know, they look like fish scales before I cut them.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. That's cool. I noticed you brought in a few birds today. Why did you pick those ones specifically to share?
I thought they were neat. Like, I brought a little oak, what is it? Breasted nuthatch.
Yeah.
And that one was really popular on Twitter. Everyone loved seeing it. The robin was because I sent you pictures of like the process, how I made it, sculpted it on Blender, and 3D printed it. And that one I think is my favorite so far.
That's cool.
It was crazy sculpting that one.
Yeah.
And then I brought a little golden finch.
Is that the little one that's in like the
dome?
The dome, yeah. That one's really pretty. Yeah, delicate.
Last year I started doing that. It's so weird because in my career I was just always creating big birds. And I got a little bit tired of doing that. Kind of burned out. And there was an art contest or like a little event on Twitter where every day you're supposed to draw a bird. And I decided to challenge myself. So for like a week and a half, I just created all these little tiny birds every day. Cool. And I was able to get them done in like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love the little diorama kind of aspect of it with where it's got a little scene in there.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Yeah, so like I have back at home like 7 of them all in little domes.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I don't know what to do with them. But
well, you have a show coming up, right?
Some of them aren't related to Butte, so they're not going to be part of the show.
Okay.
Because my show is all dedicated to the birds at Butte County or the West Coast. Oh,
cool. Yeah, okay. And that's going up at the Chico Art Center in like is it going up in the gallery or in the like foyer gallery?
I think it's the main gallery.
Oh, really? Cool. Yeah. The big
white
space.
room.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that. I can't wait to go in and like see the world of birds. Obviously, I love birds. Like I feel like I've had you, I've had Rita, and then I had a whole bird series. So like,
Oh, that's right.
there's a lot of birds popping up here.
And yeah, we have the Snow Goose Festival.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Monka does a lot of stuff with birds.
Yeah, they do. And that show actually is what got me started on my first bird series.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah. So I made one and then like 12 more came after it.
And I also learned recently we have what's called AltaCal. Have you heard of that? It's, what is it? It's related to the Arbor. They're a group online that dedicates birds. They have a whole website of the bird sounds, the details, their height.
Right.
And I guess there's different districts where people have their own little groups. So like if
for bird watching and oh cool.
So yeah, I'm like I want to see if I can get part of that, but I barely know when they're open.
Yeah. We'll have to do some digging and find out. So do you have any like studio rituals or routines that you want to share?
Yeah. Right now, since I teach every Tuesday and Thursday, the rest of the week is me just jumping into my gallery like 6:30, 7 in the morning. So I'll wake up around 6, get dressed, go to Upper Crust, get my quiche and mocha frost, and then go down there and then maybe spend an hour on my phone.
Yeah. It's all part of the process.
Yeah, it's my little process. And then, I just shake it off and start cutting stuff up. Right now, since I have like 30 birds I'm trying to work on, already have like half done. I would see what I have. I have like a Trello. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yes, yeah, I use that.
I use that a lot. Yeah, I have all my birds aligned, and I'll see which ones need to be cut, which ones need to be painted. And I kind of do like a conveyor belt. I'll start off every day looking at the beginning, which might be 3D modeling, 3D printing, cleaning up, adding paper, painting the paper, adding eyes. So every day I start from the beginning, see what needs to be done, and slowly go upwards.
Through the process with each bird. That's really cool.
And right now, since I have everything 3D printed, all cleaned up, all the eyes detailed, I'll spend like a day or two just finishing one bird. So like every week I'll have 1 or 2 birds done. And slowly getting all those 30 birds. It cracks me up because everyone's scared that I'm not going to have enough birds for my show. Because they're like, you spent like half the year 3D modeling, 3D printing. Are you sure you're going to have them done?
And you're like, I got a system.
And I'm like, don't worry about it.
I'll be fine. That's awesome.
But yeah, it's been fun doing that. And yeah, my ritual's pretty much doing that. And then 5 o'clock, I just head back home, cook dinner, go watch a movie.
Yep. That's awesome. That sounds like the dream. Just get to sit in your studio all day with your quiche and coffee. So where do you get, like, how do you choose the bird? I mean, there's obviously hundreds of birds to choose from. So you said this specific series is focused on Butte County. Do you tend to go for birds in a specific region or just birds that you're drawn to their look of? Or you mentioned before you did larger birds. So kind of what has inspired you about the birds that you choose?
This started off, have you ever seen the Birds of Bidwell? I believe that's the name of the book. Have you seen them?
No, I haven't, but...
They have like a trio of books, Birds of Bidwell, Trees of Bidwell, Flowers of Bidwell. And
I need to get those.
They're really cool books.
Yeah.
All the pictures are hand-drawn.
That's awesome.
Little details, where to find them in Bidwell Park. So a big chunk of the birds is based off of that book. I have like a whole bunch of little sticky notes on each one saying, oh, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do that one. And in the end, I'm doing all of them. So, so every page has sticky notes. And I am slowly actually transitioning to birds that are going extinct around Butte County. Just because recently I found a website that was talking about birds going extinct because of the cal fires and drought. So I'm slowly trying to add those too.
Yeah.
And a lot of the birds that I'm actually sculpting are going extinct, which is kind of shocking.
Yeah.
Like the magpies and
Oh no, I love magpies.
I know. I'm like, what?
That's sad.
And it makes sense because I never seen one.
Right. Oh.
So it's I'm hoping to also bring awareness, which is weird because I always want to, but I didn't think I would be able to. And seeing all these birds going extinct was like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. So how are you gonna like feature those in the?
They're probably still going to be just like every bird on around the walls and stuff, but I'm going to create like a little plaque.
Oh, okay, little indicator or something. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, have them for each bird, little plaque saying this bird's going extinct.
Yeah,
or these ones are critical. So kind of give it that weird museum vibe, a little.
Right. But I think that's awesome. Like art, I feel like is the visual component of it it's so powerful to be able to. It's one thing to say, oh, birds are going extinct, but when you can see the magpie is going extinct and you have this celebration of the magpie in your art, like I feel like that's really impactful. So I'm glad you're able to incorporate that in this show.
Yeah, and I like that too. People always telling me like, why birds? What's the meaning behind them? And a lot of times it's just, well, I think they're neat. But, the more I start creating, the more I start finding my voice. I'm like, yeah, I want to be that voice for them. They're really beautiful animals, little dinosaurs.
Totally, yeah.
And I always saw them as like a weird feminine thing. Like I see this gentleness, but they're still crazy.
Yeah.
I think of blue jays a lot. That's like my favorite animal. And people are like, why? They make ugly noises and they like to eat other birds. And I'm like,
but they're pretty.
They're just like me.
Yeah. That's awesome. That reminds me so much of, like, I feel like so many artists feel like they have to have all this deep meaning behind why they do what they do. But so often we're just drawn to something because we like the way it looks. And then the more we reside in that and the more we interact with other people and talking about it, that's when all like kind of the deeper meanings sort of show up. At least that's been my experience.
No, I totally agree. Just talking to you and Rita, and I have a whole bunch of friends that love birds. It makes my art feel more homey, like more relatable, even if it's no deeper meaning. It's more of, we like this bird.
Yeah.
We connect to it.
Yeah.
And I always also notice a lot of people would ignore my art. Like I
Interesting.
noticed there's been a couple times where I had art at Monca and the Chico Art Center where people will just walk past it. And then later someone will be like, that's made out of paper. And then those same people will be like, what? So
and then they'll go for a second look. Well, they are really realistic, like for being made of paper. You really gotta like look at them to see, oh, those are book pages in there, you know? Yeah.
And yeah, it's I feel like it kind of brings people a little bit closer, like literally to the piece.
Right. To take a closer look. Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. In your experience, what's the best part about being an artist in Chico?
People call me the bird artist.
You have a local reputation.
Yes, it started at Chico State because I went for computer animation and game design.
Oh, okay.
And apparently there's a feud between the computer people and the fine arts, mixed media people. Oh,
interesting. Yeah.
So when I started doing like figure drawing with Jay or David, they were like, why are you here? You belong over there.
Weird.
But, I was using their art shop to like sculpt birds. And little by little, people would be like, oh, you're the bird artist. And even now when I go to the Thursday night market and display my work, they'd be like, oh, you're the bird artist. Like, I don't think anybody knows my name.
Yeah.
But it's like low key. I feel famous.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool.
I also like how you can have your art displayed almost anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have my art displayed at Upper Crust because I love being there.
Absolutely.
I love to see.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
And there's a lot of people that appreciate art.
Mm-hmm.
We have open studios coming up, and we have over 80 people being part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never expected that many artists. Like in Stockton, you barely know a person.
Mm-hmm.
Having your whole studio open to the public seems wild to me because Stockton's dangerous.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to leave.
I don't want random people walking through my house.
Know my address.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Whoa. And yeah, here in Chico, I hope I don't put myself in danger.
No, you won't. I did it last. Is this your first year as an artist?
No, this was been my third or fourth
okay,
time.
Okay. Yeah, then you're fine.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah,
you survived so far.
Yeah, the first time I did it, like I actually did it with another artist. I was like, I don't want them in my apartment.
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
But yeah, now I have my door open. I'm excited.
That's
like,
awesome.
Come on in.
Yeah. This will be airing between, I think next week. Yeah. So it'll be right before the final weekend of Open Studios. So
nice.
Quick little shout out to anyone listening before the 21st. Go get your guidebook and come out and see us all. Because, yeah, there's, I think, a record number of artists participating this year.
I know. I'm like, wow. Like, what is this, the 35th year of them doing this?
I think so, something like that.
Because I'm part of the, Chico Art Center board. And one of the first things they did was create the booklets. So since the 30th year, I guess, of Open Studios, all the booklets are designed by me.
Oh, awesome. So, that's cool.
I'm like, give me a free table.
Yeah, totally. Come on.
But
a little bit of a kickback. But that's the least they could do.
But I love it.
Yeah.
And I love meeting other artists. It's funny, knowing Rita, Rita knowing this person. Do you know Tatiana?
I haven't met her yet, but yeah.
I'm like, I feel like just saying one name, people will be like, I don't really know that person. But then later, because I feel like they're very loud people, you'll probably meet them.
Okay. Yeah.
Like Daniel Donnelly. Yeah, obviously. I feel like everyone should know him.
Everyone knows Daniel, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, and Sten Hoyland did an interview where he mentioned that this is like double hearsay because he heard or saw somewhere that Chico has the most artists per capita of, I don't know, compared to what, but we have a lot of artists per capita is the bottom line there.
That's crazy.
So yeah, there's a lot of us. Like that's really why I wanted to start the podcast, is to help because it does feel like all the artists know each other, but there's a lot of non-artists who don't realize they're surrounded by artists. So
yeah, and I think Open Studios actually opened my eyes on that because you'll be in my street, a little blue sign will pop up, and then you're like, what? There's someone I know.
Yeah.
Have you also seen the Sacramento Open Studios?
No, but I have a friend who participated. I think she participates every year, but I got to get down there one of these years.
I did it. Well, I checked it out this year, and to me, it's also very wild. It's only been running for 12 years now, and they have over I think 200 artists.
Oh wow!
So I always thought I think Sacramento has more, but Chico's smaller. We have
we're way smaller, and we've got almost half that already. Yeah,
and it's fun right now seeing all the blue signs pop up. It's like a little Easter hunt.
Yeah, totally.
And I recommend getting the little booklet.
Yeah.
Every year I also like to get this little app, get it for free, and put all the addresses on there. And it organizes it so you can go
cool. So you can figure out your route and everything. Yeah, that's awesome.
And even then, you won't be able to see everybody.
No, definitely not. I know Daniel tries to every year just to get a picture and say hi, but yeah.
And I'm excited. I have a couple of my students who are being part of it.
Yeah, that's great.
Because right now I'm also doing Butte College Makerspace as part of the open studio.
Right.
But I have other students who don't want to be a part of a group that like spread out.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah,
that's great.
They're opening their studio.
Yeah.
So it's nice. Yeah, like I'm like, I did this. I brought you more artists.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm excited for that, seeing their work. What is it? I also like told people off the street at Thursday night market, like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
So hopefully they applied. We have so many artists that.
Yeah, and I think we have like 14 new artists or something like that. So yeah, it's definitely like a record year for a lot of reasons.
And I'm also impressed that not a lot of people know about it.
I know. Yeah, that is something that like astounds all of us, because like us as artists, because it's such a, well, there's even artists who don't know about it. I come across them, so yeah, just trying to spread the word.
And I'm hoping we can get Chico to be more artsy looking, like.
Yeah, well, a lot of the downtown murals and things going in, like, I think all that's awesome. And I know they just wrapped up, but and I forget the organization's name because I can't come up with things off the top of my head, but there's an organization that does tours of the public art downtown on like the second Saturday of the month or something over the summer. So anyway, maybe I'll drop a link in the description if I remember.
Yeah.
For that.
And I'm also impressed with the sign language. Have you seen?
Yeah, that new sign language mural. That's really cool.
That's cool. And then the lady advertising workshops for that. I really want to check that out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's also a nice creative outlet for Chico, because I never expected sign language as being part of our culture. And seeing it like everywhere here in Chico, I don't know, it feels more diverse than other places. Like we're trying to accommodate more.
Right. Yeah. Which is great. And just another thing to love about this town.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's got its issues, but there's a lot to love for sure.
Not as bad as Stockton. Oh my God. I love Stockton, but
well, thank you so much for joining us and talking to me about birds and art, and yeah, this was great.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed this.
Awesome. Well, you can find, where can people find you? What Instagram handle do you prefer people?
My Instagram handle and my website is visualdiscord.com or visual_discord
on Instagram.
Awesome.
You can go see all the birds there.
Yeah. And I'll hopefully be adding more once my show pops up, because so far I'm keeping it kind of hush-hush.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The new birds, you mean? Yeah. I want to keep them secret and safe for the show. Yeah. Awesome.
Nice.
Well, great. And with that, thank you for listening, and we will see you around town.
You only call me when you're lonely, darling, when you're wanting something to change.
This podcast is sponsored by Metric Cosmetics, full-service video, photo, and podcasting in Chico, California. For more information, visit www.metriccosmetics.com. Metric Cosmetics. Let's get to work.